start my OBS. All right. So let's change this to here. Sure, we can save it. No, that's not what I wanted. There we go. And then let's go back to 5:30 this morning. 5:30? Yeah, 5:30. We'll actually go 7:30 because that's basically where I made my assessment. Okay, so this is what happened. We had this. So if we go to the 15-minute, well,
oh yeah.
Here, no, I'm gonna do this the way I did it this morning, and then I'll re-engineer where I messed up. So I was looking at the data for, I just took a true day because it extended even though it was a false day, and I'm gonna show you how, like, reviewing at work, I could have seen that it was gonna be a false day here as well, quite conveniently. But I was watching on the 5-minute, and instead of like over analyzing, which is what I would normally do, the retracement mode, or sorry, the extension mode for CL on a Thursday, I believe is 2 to 2.1. Let me just load up lens to make sure I'm not misremembering, but I'm 99% sure that an extension for a true day on a short is 2 to 2.1. As the mode, not the like overall.
Right.
Man, I think I'm gonna have to reinstall everything on my computer. My computer's being really.
When's the last time you restarted?
I shut it down today because it was acting up.
It's still acting up?
Yeah, it's like having issues installing stuff, and it's saying that like I'm missing files and stuff all of a sudden.
Did you clear your cache?
Yeah, I don't know. I've been building my computers for
Forever, right?
20
Yeah,
years.
so you know what you're doing. Yeah. I get you.
By day, Thursday, ODR, true short, first bucket. Yeah, so basically all I did was, so 2.3 to 2.4 would be the median, but then I basically said 2.1 to 2.2 would be like before like the big drop offs happened.
Yeah.
So I was fine with that, and I was like, so this is basically where we should be.
Okay.
Then so if we go a couple candles ahead, what I did was I marked, I wasn't really thinking about it, and I just said this was the high, and it's not. I'm going to show you where I made my error. I believe anyways, and then I was looking for an entry, which would have been in this area. Then we come in and we make a new low. It's 8:30. I see this impulsive candle. It goes up again.
Right.
And I entered on the 1 minute in this gap that's right here.
Okay.
Laser entry.
If on the 1 minute, where did you enter?
On the 1
right
minute.
There.
Yeah, right there.
All right.
So laser entry based on like simply like understanding gaps and stuff. The problem is on the 15-minute time frame, this is your high. It's the green candle. And we never made a new high. There's no, you need a body close above that. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Pressing all the wrong buttons here.
What's that?
I just hit cancel instead of okay. So we need a body close above here. You can even argue that because this was a green up candle, you need a close above here. So there's no close above here. So what is happening though is this was the low, and we're not making closes here either. The next candle though does. So this leg up I was in, and I wasn't paying attention to what was here because I was assuming that we had hit our low for the day.
Okay.
Based on extension data. But the only way that you can look at the extension being true, and we're doing a flip into the RDR to have a range expansion day or an upside plus day or whatever, is if you actually have a break of structure that indicates that. So you don't get that until not even here, you get it here. So once this happens, so I had one trade break even, and then I lost a trade, and it's all recorded. I'm going to be uploading it, but I broke even. So I got in like here, I broke even on this impulsive, or maybe it was this one, and then when it came back down, I re-entered. And then when I was at work, I'm like, man, like, how did I mess that up? Like, I'm like, the only way I lost this trade is if I was misreading something. And I was. Because there was no change, there was no market structure shift to the upside. That happened here. So we had this 15-minute close above. So on this close, now we can assume that we're getting that shift. So now we're looking for either like it could go here, like anywhere in here, really,
and still be valid.
So we're looking for upward momentum. It's probably gonna be a true day. The exception, or not a true day, an upside day. The exception would be like if in this whole like box forming, it takes out these highs, then you might have a sell day. But if it doesn't, then we've got a broken model. ADR, or the previous RDR is intact. So we're broken ADR, fine ODR. Obviously, this is trumpet is basically what we're looking for. So if the box creation breaks the highs, then it's kind of wishy-washy, but really what we're looking for is the breakup,
right,
and then go higher. So I was sitting at work, and I'm like, I lost here. I had like shut down whatever for the day, and I was just kind of hanging out, and I was like, hey, what did I do wrong? And what I did wrong was I didn't wait for this. So when this happens, now you can go to the 5-minute and look at what we have.
Yeah.
So this is the reason that this broke. So now we just play it out. What happens? Well, if you're impatient, you could probably get in somewhere here. We filled the gap. We still have upside momentum. I would say if it blows through this and the new swing low that was created, then it was a fake out. But that's really hard to do when you have a clear market structure shift. we now break the ODR. So now we're almost 100% at least going for these highs. Like I think it's like a 94% or something.
Wow.
Just based on like how it got broken and when and the time.
What do you mean? I mean, how it got broken?
Like if it breaks right here,
Mm-hmm.
right after ODR, it's different because we're not walking into a session. So like the difference is, and you can go back test it. Like if it breaks the ODR, let's change this to black. So if it breaks the ODR like right after the ODR closes, then it's way more likely to just kind of like do whatever. You can get like a downside day or you can get like an upside day or whatever. If it breaks the ODR during box formation, this is basically saying, so we've closed the gap. We've also created a broken model for the day to day. So like this is now saying we want these highs at like a minimum. And I said this,
Right.
like I recorded it. I said the minimum that I was actually targeting today was these highs.
Okay.
The problem is once I lost this trade, I just shut it down because I'm like, okay, obviously I read the day wrong. But then when I saw J Bell's trade, I was like, man, like what did I miss this morning? Because like, and I wasn't looking at the big picture for the market structure. So then,
Wow. Mm-hmm.
I reanalyzed this, and now we've got this. So now we wait for our box creation. It comes at 10:30 here. There we go. So if you notice, the DR line lines up perfectly with
the bottom of the order block.
That's right. So for me, if I was taking this trade, assuming that it's gonna be a true day, like this would have been my trade. And then we can watch it play out. And my trade would have been, I would have waited to see where it went to, but more or less this is the trade. So then we just watch it play out. So it looks like it runs away. So
did I lose you? Oh,
no.
I can hear you.
Trying to remember. Okay, so RDR Thursday true long. I obviously would have looked at the data more when it came to, but we would have had our retreat. Oh yeah, so that's what it was. So now that I know there's order blocks here, for me it's simply what's the mode retracement. Once this happens, I basically don't want to see a retracement past negative 0.8 with a body close. Obviously, wicks, whatever. Wicks don't matter. So for the overall retracements, 0.7 to 0.9 is like the drop off. So I would have been here. My stop would have been down here just as like a protection. And then the extension was 1.6 for the day. So this is the trade that basically J Bell took. 5R. He's like, if I can set 5R and forget it, why wouldn't I do that?
Right.
But the 5R makes sense because you're protected by the market structure shift.
Yeah.
So if this is to hold true, then yeah, you're running the target. If this closes below here, we're now on a down, like we're just coming down. Like it might react here and come back up, or it's coming for some low down here. So
down where? Can you point that again? Sorry.
Just these lows.
Oh yeah. Got you.
It's just gonna go for whatever. But that's literally, so I don't know why. I gotta go review the video, and this is why I've been recording stuff, because I gotta go review what I recorded this morning to try and like understand what I saw, because there's no market structure shift here in this like early formation. So like I was hunting for a trade that inevitably was getting stopped out. And you can even, so if we just turn off all this other stuff here, off, this one, yes, but we want to go settings, so we just need this off. So, oh, and we want those off. So even here, when so ODR confirmed short, and then we confirm long.
Right.
The problem with the long is this is the long structure. So if we draw a line from here straight across, it never breaks structure. This is a false confirmation. This is, as soon as this dips down and we get this close below the most recent high, man, this is a sell all day.
Yeah.
But I wasn't looking on the higher time frame. I was just like, I was trying to analyze the lens data, and I'm like, well, and then I ended up break even on one of these trades too, because I was just like, well, we have a false confirmed day, so I'll just try and use the lens data. So I actually had 2 break even trades, and then I lost one, and then I was like, okay, well, I'm obviously, there's something that I'm not paying attention to, and I just need to walk away right now. So I'm down an R today, but I was able to just walk away, which is
yeah, that's
huge.
a plus.
But like, had I been looking at the bigger picture, I would have smashed today, because even on the 5-minute, not a single close above the 15-minute high.
Right.
And when that happens, we have, you could have actually got in here. So you have,
this is the 1 minute?
No, this is the 5
No,
minute.
5 minute, yes.
So because you're basing off 15-minute structure, this is basically just how you like fracture everything. So when we know this is the 15-minute high. We're trying to come up, it fails. We get a confirmation, but it fails to make a new high. Then tries to come up again and closes below. So now we can assume that this is the low. We try and come up, we dip up again, we fail to even come above the body closes. We dip up even.
Yeah, 2 dibs and then it covers them right away.
And it covers them. As soon as this close happens below our swing low, man, this is a sell. You just get in. And then you're like, okay, what's our extension? Well, you can even go safe. You can be like, okay, maybe it'll come back up here. So then you just look at your extension data for a true day, like whatever it is.
I like that analysis.
And it's structure telling me the analysis. It's not like there's no, like, it's not like I'm pulling stuff out of my air. Like, this is the stuff that I talk about all the time. And it's to the point, and it can be used so strongly in conjunction with lens.
With DR. Yeah,
like
lens.
It's insane. Like, target probably would have been the 2.1, so you would have been out here, so 4.4R. And then like this here was just, I was just being a dummy. Like, I don't know why I use this high, or what I used for the high, or what I rationalized, or where. But like, you can see if you go to the 15-minute, there's nowhere on here. So This would have been a high. It was never closed above. This would have been a high, never closed above. High, never closed above. Equal highs, close above here. As soon as we get the close above, drop down, and we see what caused it. So now we just assume that if it's going to be a true day, it's going to respect this zone. Can it come all the way to here and react? Sure.
Yeah, definitely.
But
it's unlikely.
Well, even if
I mean,
even if it does, though, as long as you're 2 ticks behind it, unless it's legit stop hunting, you're never being tagged here. Like, this is just going to target.
Yeah.
And you can even use lens data as like a benefactor. So like if we're assuming retracement data holds true and HOS LOS holds true, in order to be a true day after we get our confirmation, it's never coming back to the 0.8, 0.9. Like, not never, but there's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of 13 out of 122 times. So it's like you're super protected here. And then you can even do another entry. So because we're looking at a true day, you're basically assuming there's no wick here. So you're looking for void space. In this wick is this. This is what caused this upside structure shift. You can buy into that.
Wow.
Hasn't ran a target yet, but nonetheless, same idea.
Yeah.
So like,
but you're up or I mean your break even or your I don't know if you put a raised stop once it goes to that close to your target, but I mean I would imagine a stop here would be somewhere just below that order block right there.
Yeah,
like 46 maybe.
No, I don't think I would move it all here.
Okay.
Yeah, I would just let it ride. I don't really care. Because it's like, I want to either be break even or hitting my like R potential
targets.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I never. The only time I ever recommend trailing is on prop accounts because they have like absurd rules.
Yeah, because they charge you for that intra-trade drawdown.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But that's also why you should just trade a regular account because it doesn't. There's no value, right? So both of these trades today, super easily attainable, like without question.
Yeah. My goodness.
And like, especially when this candle destroys this 15-minute high, like just straight up plows through it. Like, you know that whatever caused this break should hold. And if it doesn't hold, well, we're probably going to a false day. And this is 0 to 0.1. Yeah, so on a true day, after confirmation, 0 to 0.1 is the mode. What does the mode line up with for HOS LOS? Lines up with the order block that got created on a true day.
Right. Holy shit.
So it's crazy, man. Like when you just break everything down, like on a granular level of expectations. And it's so like I don't think I catch this transition trade because it's not so like the one that I caught. This isn't the chart that I use. The one that I caught the other day. Yeah, it was Tuesday. 100% this was it. If we look at the 50-minute on the Tuesday, Tuesday ODR. Was it the Tuesday? Yeah, had to have been because we had the extension. Oh, and I was looking at the end of the day, so I didn't. Well, we didn't have basically, yeah. So this is what it was. So we had the swing high, we had the low. This was the most recent high. We don't move it down because we're not getting any higher body closes. So this is the respected high. And then as soon as this was Tuesday the 20th, Tuesday the 20th, oh, right here. I was looking for my line. So as soon as this high gets broken, we create an order block within it. If we break this down into the 1 minute, and this is how I usually find my entries, because if you're paying attention to what to look for, it's way different.
Using the 1 versus the 5, you're saying to calculate tighter entries.
Yeah, like I want laser entries, right? Like I don't want any drawdown. And where was this? Because no, I'm looking at the wrong. I'm on the right day, but that's not what I saw that day. 20th is here. Let's change this to like pink or something.
Yeah.
Oh, that didn't really do anything for me. I'm colorblind. So we had this high. Oh no, that's what it was. So I changed it to this high once we had the new low. So it was low, high. No, couldn't have been that. It had to have been this. What was I looking at here? Low, high, and then we had a new low created. That's what it was. It was this high. Yeah. Because there was no high, no new high. Lower. So this is a lower high. So it was in. I wanted this, then a higher low, lower high, lower low. So it was between this and this. That's where it was. I have all this recorded, so I could just go back and look. But had to have been this. Yeah, so when this high got broken, we had this high get broken, it came down, created a new low, and then this high. So within here, I was basically looking for a reason to enter. And it was basically, I saw this, but then the way I was looking at it is because this was all upward movement, this wick would have to be part of this, and then um, that doesn't make any sense. I got in way down here. You know what it is? Let's just go here. Reload without saving. For some reason, I feel like it looks different here. So this was the Tuesday. Yeah, here's my trade right here. No, that's the Wednesday. There it is. Obviously, all the stuff's gone now. So I had more marked up, but I deleted it. So
Okay.
it comes into the DRC. There used to be a whole bunch of like specials and stuff here. They've gone because they've been like gone through now. But I don't know why. Yeah, I gotta go review that video because I'm missing something. I'm missing some kind of context here. So we had the low, the high, the lower low. I have no idea why I got in right here because this isn't.
It dibs up there. That looks like positive structure. I mean, but you got in before it broke those highs, right? So I guess maybe not.
Yeah, like it's not how I view structure. I had to have seen something like in the moment that because so on the 50 minutes, so this is the high, this is the low. This would be your short-term high. So if we go like this, this impulsive candle doesn't do anything here. This still looks like it's down. Yeah, so this has to be the first candle that caused the break. So if we have that.
I mean, you have that big down candle that puts in the bottom and it gets completely erased and it takes out the high and closes above it the subsequent candle. That's what it looks like on the 5. On the 1 minute, it's you have a
Oh,
shift in market structure down the bottom.
that's why. I'm looking at the wrong day, man. I'm
Oh.
like, this doesn't make any sense to me. No, I didn't even take a trade on Tuesday on the over here.
Oh, okay.
I mocked that up. This is the one I was thinking about right here.
Okay.
I'm like, why can't I make any sense of this? I think I just mocked that up, and I was like, what would happen here? But I should just delete it because it doesn't. I can't justify
Well,
anything.
if it doesn't resonate with you, it's not.
So here was, so we had the low, we had a high, we had the low. This is the new high, and then we get a low with a lower low on a green candle. So this to me is saying that if we start breaking up and break this high, we're getting a market structure shift because because you can't have a green candle that's a new low.
Right.
So then, yeah, this makes way more sense. So then we break it, and then all I did was come down to the 1 minute to find a reason to enter. And on the 1 minute, I can see that on the way up, we created a directional imbalance and a VIB and a M7 special, whatever you want to call that. So my entry was literally right here.
Wow.
I said, okay, So I want this to come up, or I want this to be filled, and then going for the gap. Obviously, there were other people that got in like right here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand that style yet because they're trading like purely model. Like
Mm.
I know
Well,
Twist got in here.
yeah, those are the trades that I put as my intact model trade, even though that shows the model break. That's retracing to the 50% of the IDR. So if the potential model is like, let's say, upside XP, it shouldn't trade below the mid. It can tap it. Uh, Technically, it shouldn't wick through it, but that's exactly where the X is the mid of the previous session.
Mm,
So um, those are the kind of trades that I'm going to be doing in my back test. Those are the one that's like the intact model trades
yeah.
in transition. So I, I've been watching them. They don't always work out, but when they do, they're tremendous. And you don't usually take a ton of heat. It usually moves pretty quickly away from. You get to participate in the opening drives. You know, the R's come pretty easy when you're right, and when you're wrong, your stop is not never that far away, you know.
See, so this one for me, I like the only reason I wouldn't get in here.
Mhm.
So Twist said he got in because a wick doesn't count. And I guess it is 9 o'clock, so it's pre-open. So I guess that does
Right.
make sense.
Mhm.
Um, but for
It doesn't
me,
count to fill the gap. You're saying the gap looks filled there to you.
that's right. So like to
Yeah.
me, especially after I've already ran the target, I'm like, this to me looks like it filled, and now we're getting a downside day. But I guess
Mhm.
it doesn't fill till 9:40. So the argument could be that if it was looking to fill, but it can't fill till open at 9:30, then this is valid. And the other validation you can get behind it is understanding where that market shift happened. So
Right.
my stop was basically I came back to the 5 minute and I said, okay, so where, like, if price, it if this was a fake out, where would price go? And it would close below this.
Right.
So I just had my like stop basically aligned with the wick of that, and I said we're either going up exactly to the tick where I said, uh, or we're just coming down. And
Yeah.
then you can argue, like, once you understand that this is the structure shift, well, we're probably going up. And then Twist, like, he got this to somewhere up here, and he
Mhm.
had like a like super tight stop, like it was crazy. And then he also got in here, I think, but he got stopped out. And then he got in on this for like the rest of the day.
Wow.
Stop here or something. Yeah, he got like 1300, 14 yesterday,
Wow. What a
all
day.
off the same move. So like
Yeah.
that's just something that I haven't like figured out how to do yet, right?
Yeah.
Because for me, like in my head, and it's just something I have to untrain, is once I've gotten what I think the move is, how do I justify going in again without it being like impulsive, like, or not, like not impulsive, but like the
No, I understand what you're saying.
yeah, like it's almost like greedy to me. It's
Yeah.
like it's like
Yeah.
how do I know the move isn't done? And he said,
Right. Well, now he's trading just the confirmation in the second. The transition trade is over, but then if you can participate, if you can stack your trade using pure DR logic in the after the confirmation, then that is, it's further. I mean, it's a legitimate DR trade to take. In fact, people who don't trade the transitions are taking that was their primary trade, the TMP traders.
mm-hmm. Well, and you can
So,
even like, so this, like, it's the same thing. Like this here would be your order block. This wick's gargantuan, so I wouldn't include it. And like you never get a body close below that,
Mm,
right? And this is where wicks
yeah.
don't matter. It's like it doesn't matter if this wick comes all the way down here. This caused the structure shift on the 5 minute. So if we're continuing up, it should respect this, or worst case, well, and there is no worst case really because this is all down and this is all up. So if it breaks this, it's for sure breaking this low.
Right.
Like there's nothing created here to stop it. I guess you could argue to look at the 1 minute, but that's that's not a very good tell for
Mm,
price action if you
right.
don't want to get slapped in the face. Yes, here. So this is the break. So technically, it would be this that caused the break. It can't be this because it doesn't create a low.
Mm.
Literally 50%. And
Wait. You said it doesn't create a low. What do you mean?
so this red candle, like, so when you're breaking down into the 1 minute, this,
A down red candle that doesn't take out the low of the previous green candle is not a order block, basically.
that's right.
Okay. All right.
So it would technically actually be this,
Yeah.
which is
Puts you right to the
exactly 50%.
50%. Right.
And that's like that's the problem with going down to the 1 minute is there's you gotta really like analyze what you're looking at because it can look pretty fucking wonky. But yeah, that would be so. This created a low below here, so then we move up. There's no other action. You could have taken a buy off the tap, and then you can retrace to literally 50% of that transition, understanding that we've already had the market structure shift, so the odds of it continuing up are high. And the only times you really look for market structure shift is at the like unless it happens in the RDR. Um, you're looking at the end of the London session
Mm-hmm.
because that's your transition to the upside or the downside,
Mm-hmm.
and then you'll see it in the RDR into the ADR. There'll be jumps sometimes, or the ADR will do like a random like swing, and those are usually the times where like you see the ADR do like crazy movement, and you're like, it never does that.
Right.
It's
Oh, right.
it's usually either filling a gap and then running, or it's causing the internal structure shift. Yeah, where's that other trade? Let's delete that because that trade made no sense. This trade, get out of here. I thought it was this because of the big upward movement,
Yeah.
but
Now that's the thing. Like those are the ones I'm training my eye to spot. Like we've extended down. The model at that point is not broken. Like when at the extension of that session, it runs up, taps the 50% of the IDR, and sells again. Now there is another trade. It exists between ODR and RDR, not ADR and ODR. Usually model breaks that occur between ADR and ODR are the ones that where you have that's your daily model is now broken, right?
mm-hmm.
But but between ODR and RDR, you have a trade that the um, price trades and closes above the mid of the ODR, and you can actually long that and
Mm-hmm.
and anticipate it to continue on to the high of either the ADR or the ODR. And if you're able to hold it, you can and anticipate whatever the point two of the RDR session is in that in the you know
Yeah,
the
because you have a
direction of the
70%
break.
chance of hitting it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
got you.
that's totally it. So that those are the things that, like, if I can keep those in my belt, then I think that's more than enough. As long as I can control how many hours I'm spending on those types of trades in a week span, um, and that I also make sure that those kind of trades give me the type of R that are worth the risk on them, then it's plenty of extra juice, and it kind of tickles my involvement, in terms of,
Well, like
not,
even
yeah,
this, I remember like reviewing it later, and I, like so the thing with these transition trades is you have to be unbiased. Like you have to just
yeah,
be like open to both sides every time. I remember
hmm
this trade because
hmm
I'm I was anticipating the the upward movement. Like I was expecting the point 0.5 to be broken, and then away it went. What I wasn't paying attention to was the point 0.5 lines up with this order block.
oh
So,
wow.
so when we get 5 rejections, like this is an easy short. Like you could have literally been on the point 0.5.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you to do, is draw that order block out, because those are the kinds of things that would, there's not a lot of, like, confluences to take, like you just said, you shouldn't have a bias. But actually I'm trying to test a theory about a type of confluence that might end up in giving you a bias, and that's like positionally the weekly DR. Are you trading against with away from, how do I say this?
I
If you're
get it.
above if you're above the WDR, are you trading long except for Thursdays and Mondays? If you're below the DR, are you trading short? And is there an order block to protect you, that if you look left over across the chart? And these are the kinds of things that I'd like to at least tag and see, is there anything to it? And if there's nothing to it, well, that's okay too. I'm all right with that.
Yeah,
And I,
it's I don't know about like that, but what I do know is like if you're looking, so like transition trades are always like hindsight, they're actually pretty clear. Um and it's just understanding what's actually happening. So
right.
it's like as soon as I saw this leg and then beef like re got in here, and when he got in here for the short, I said no like there's no data to substantiate that this is gonna go for another low at this time of day.
Mm,
Like to me, this looks more like an extension or like a further retracement. Um, that being said, this is the order block that caused it actually technically be this wick to here that caused this
that
break
move,
of
yeah.
structure.
Oh, okay.
So if it is going to come back down, it's going to respect this, which it literally does to the tick on the 50%. Um, but then when I was trying to review the day, I saw all these rejections, and I remember I was trying to play for the long here, and I was like, man, like, what is this bouncing off of? Because like I didn't see like, yeah, there's some Vibs here, and yeah, there's a DRC here, but I was like, there's no specials, there's no limiters, there's no like,
Mm,
I'm like, there's nothing like substantial to me that screams like we're we're coming this way, and then I looked left, and I'm like, oh my god, like this is just market structure. I'm like, the market was trying to price higher. Whatever was put in place here said no, fuck you, and sold off. And
Wow.
and it's the same with the trade today. Like when I like went and reviewed it, like I'm like, how dumb can I be?
Yeah, because that's your forte is to look left and find those things. To be fair.
Yeah, I was so like chapped. Like when I saw this like this giant leg up when I was at work before J Bell posted, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I got a review later today. And then when he posted like his nice trade, I'm like, what did I fucking miss today? And then just like as soon as I opened it and I just like stared at this, I'm like, oh my god! I was looking at the 5 minute. I saw fucking, I don't know what I saw. I didn't look at the 15 minute. The 15 minute changes everything with the structure, and
Wow.
then away we go.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I was thinking that was a short there. That long candle up off the bottom. I was thinking you could short in there against that order block.
Right,
And
right here.
no, no, go back down low where you were just there. Yeah, right in there. So when it was making that, when it made that extension low, except for the fact that it was against the model, um, uh, I thought, oh, this market's gonna sell based on that rally there, and I thought it would stop at like kind of 50% of the order block that made that shift there. Was it that one? Or the one to the left of that? Is that the order block? Or
No,
that's the order?
it would be
This,
this.
okay. So I
Uh,
was thinking it would stop there at that at order block and then resume the downside.
See, and this is where in between sessions. So this is like you can go like back test this. This is super engineered. Like I just wasn't paying attention. So this is intentional. So this candle
Mm-hmm.
up until if you break, let's go. This is 8:30. So 8:30 to 8:34. So we go down to the 1 minute. So this entire move, 8:32, 8:33, 8:34, 8:35, 8:36, 8:37, everything's up. It's intentional.
Right.
And this is what I saw. I
It's the
fucking
Judas, right? Or
that
whatever.
yeah, that's right. Well, that's what he calls it, but that's all it is. So it's engineered to make you think it's going up, and then it's engineered to make you think it's coming down, and it wants you to use, well, it'd be this as a place to short, but really all it's doing is it's taking all the sellers and saying, "Hey, see you later, bitch." And that's the whole point of
Of that whole
this
move.
push up.
Suck. It's to draw in sellers.
Yeah, and then they're like, "No, we're going down. There's dibs. There's everything." People like sell, 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 and then within two candles,
It's erased.
yeah, it's just like that's liquidity, bitch. And yeah, so yeah, this is literally what ICT calls the Judas swing. This is a proper Judas swing. You have all your accumulation, you have a purge, and then a rally. And where do you get in? You get in after the true break of structure, and you look for your spot. There's so many good spots to get in today. Like
Yeah.
you could have been. Uh, so during blocks creation, not so much that's clean. This is clean. Like you're basically like looking for an entry to come back into like this area which it doesn't do.
Right.
But then when you get your extra break,
It does give you a chance to get back in, retest it,
yep,
the block.
that's your entry.
Wow. That's genius.
And it's just patience, right? It's just like waiting for it. And if it breaks through this, it's breaking through this too. Like it's not
Right.
like the market's very unforgiving. It's not like
It's not letting it's trapped everyone above it.
yeah, exactly. It's like oh, you
It's
thought
not
you were
letting them out.
buying you thought you were buying here? Nope. You thought you were buying here? Nope. You thought you were buying down here? Nope.
Yeah,
Nope.
it's just gonna run the hell out of you.
Yeah, so it's you play with the market structure until it changes, and then you look for a reason to take it the other way. You never buying in places that you think could have a reaction is usually wrong. But even like look at this. So
Yeah, you can't ignore the shifts. That's the thing.
no, not at all. So like even here. So this would have been your low. You got your body close. This is on the 1 hour. So this was the cause of that. We'll cross. First time it hits this, it just fucking rejects hard. It retakes it. Like we're talking about a 1 hour time frame, but like you can almost always. Same thing here. We have. Oh, I even have it highlighted. Weird. I don't know why all this is on here. But this would be your order block that caused
all that down movement.
Yeah, as soon as it comes up into it, just fucking massive rejection.
It even does it again if you drag it over.
Yeah.
And then when it doesn't respect it, that's when it goes.
Yeah, it just breaks through. There's no wicks. There's no nothing. It's just like, yeah, I'm taking this now. So you can almost guarantee that this just bounces here. Like this is like when you look at the larger time frame, like so there's one microscopic body close below this.
Yeah.
Once it actually broke away. Boom, 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 boom. Like it's just like should we go lower?
I love it. Wow, it's like that's the kind of stuff that gives you comfort when you're taking trades. Just like no sense in not taking this trade, and you know where your stop needs to be, and if you have some other things on the board to help you, but it's just the order block. Like he was asked today in the live. I don't think you were on it, right? You weren't on the live
No.
today. But someone says, "Oh, do you know anything about order blocks?" He goes, "No, I don't." And then Meg is like, "Well, I guess that's your answer, you know." And
And
or
there's
what do you think of order blocks? He says, "I don't know anything about them."
yeah.
And but I see there's no point in really neglecting it.
No, so like I think the reason that he says no is because like he just simply trades time and price and
Right.
he's happy like he's made 9 figures trading time and price.
Yeah, yeah.
He doesn't he's fine with a 40% win rate. Like he doesn't care. He doesn't
Yeah.
need the like he just understands the long game and he's in a financial position where like he doesn't need the extra edge. He doesn't need to try and study stuff that doesn't necessarily like it's just going to take him a lot of time investment, right?
Right. And he doesn't need to do it.
Exactly.
He doesn't really
He's
need
like
to do it.
he sees structure. Like he doesn't like he literally looks at stuff and
Mm.
just goes, oh yeah, this is like he would see this here, this trade,
Mhm.
and like to me, I need to see the market structure shift and I need to understand. But like all he sees, he's like, okay, this rejected off these VIBs. There's nothing here. Rejects higher off of all these VIBs. We get a bounce off this VIB. We just rejected this limiter, rejected the limiter again. So we're going up.
Mm.
Like, so he just sees the market structure. He doesn't need to see the order block. Like,
No.
he can tell that right here, this is shifting.
Right. Right. Right.
So, like, that's why he thinks it's stupid because, like, he has 20 years of trading like this. He just sees it.
Yeah.
Whereas like you and me and like most people like, and this is what I explained, I shared it in the MSC chat, I this trade, and they're like, how did you get in so little or so early? And then like the main reason was I just saw the market structure shift based on how I see market structure.
Right.
But then when I was explaining it, I highlighted, I'm like, because I want to train my brain to see it. I'm like, well, it rejected here. It rejected like nothing here.
Mhm.
It didn't even hit the DRC.
Right.
Then we reject this giant cluster of VIBs like to the
Right.
tick. And then we reject this one tiny little VIB and this clothesline from somewhere. But then we reject off these limiters twice. We've got a gap above, which we know is a easy target. We have a broken model. So this is the shift. Like
Right.
this is just what he sees. So when people are like, what do you think of order blocks? Like, he's like, what do I need an order block for? I said, like, the algo tells me what it wants to do. It's just here. Like, just
Right.
pay attention.
Yeah. 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 I love it.
And and that's why I painted it out for them is because like I don't want to rely on order blocks. Like I want to be able to see this in real time and be like, okay, I'm happy with my long.
Right.
Like I think
But you'll never not look at them, right? Or I mean, it's not like you're trying to, divest yourself of the knowledge, right? You're just not. You don't want to be dependent on it.
I I personally would rather see it like this because then I'm not like you don't even like M7 never even looks at different time frames. He doesn't look at anything, dude. He just look at he's on the
That's
5 minute.
incredible.
Exactly. Like if I could just look at this and be like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I see it." And just like why like I would argue the only difference that I personally think um is like big is your stops. Like I think understanding how the market reacts to order blocks and where and why can give you a big advantage in your stop placement because like here it respects the limiters, but like if you don't know that this is what broke the structure and that's why it's respecting it,
Hmm.
then like where do you have your stop and why? Right?
Yeah.
Like M7 would be probably below he'd be like 2 ticks below here. He's like, safe stop, we're going for like whatever over here. And it's fine. It's like whatever. But like I think and he might also just teach it that way because it's like it's gonna be a
It's not
higher win
complicated.
rate for the normal person. Like maybe he does have a tighter stop. But that's the only thing that I think order blocks give an advantage of over just seeing it naturally. Because
Yeah.
seeing it naturally, like if you just understand that the shift's happening, you can almost just enter a trade, be like, hey, whatever, I want 5R, let's do an adjusted, and then it's like if you see it and like it just becomes intuitive with you, then you don't need all this other stuff. Like I've never seen him look at anything other than the 5 minute time frame.
He doesn't. He said that just recently.
Oh, did he? Yes, I
Yeah.
missed that live.
Mhm.
And whereas like all these other people, they'll teach you like the daily, the fucking weekly, the 4 hour, the 12 hour. It's like how many? I I think all you really need is the 15 minute and the 5 minute, depending like what you're looking for. Like I can almost do it on the 5 minute,
Mhm.
but it's to me I miss. It's just easier to see the high points on the 15,
Yeah.
like for me. So like, can you do it on the 5? Sure, because everything's still 15 minutes. It's like, okay, so between 7:35, no, it'd be 7:30 and 7, the close is 7:40, 30, 35, 40, yeah, and the close is 7:40. Where's the high point? Like, so like you can do it, but it's just you make less errors when you just zoom out a little bit, in my opinion.
Right. Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but everything's granular. You can find it on the 1 minute if you really wanted to,
Yeah.
but the 5 minute and I think it's more like how he has everything designed too. Like the vibs, the specials, the limiters, like everything's designed around the 5 minute. Like it's not you can put multi time frame stuff on there, but it's specifically designed to be able to see everything on the 5 minute,
Mm.
and that's just how he sees structure and price.
Right. Now, do you find that like dibs and stuff on 1 minute are as meaningful?
They are if you're looking at the right stuff.
Okay. Okay.
And you can even so here this is stupid too. I just noticed this is just today. I'm just talking to you and I'm like look at this. So this is a limiter. So this is the before the transition trade.
Mm.
It literally
Oh.
hits this limiter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times,
Oh wow.
and then just takes off. I
That's
don't even.
incredible.
Yeah, like I don't. So I don't even need to like look for this change of structure. I could literally just be like, oh, you mean 6 rejections off of here? Well, there's a high probability that this is probably going this way.
Right. Oh my goodness.
And I'm just seeing it like talking to you. It's not even just a limiter. It literally is like this is a clothesline. It's a DRC. It's everything. It's like
It's got
yeah.
everything.
It's like price wants to go down. Price wants to go down. Price wants to nope. Price is going up. So what
Wow.
did that react off of anything? So this was this morning. See, and this is where this is you're using like old breaker blocks.
Mm.
Like I would miss this. Like I'm not
Yeah.
fucking looking back here, but that's what that is.
Right.
That's what it's utilizing. There's nothing else here. It's not using a wick. It's not using this candle because it can't. Unless it's using. Is there something within the 5 minutes here? What does this come down to? This comes down to 23. 23. Yeah, there's literally nothing. So like it has to be using this old breaker block.
Wow.
So it's like I'm never getting that. Like this is I miss this until this market structure shift happens every time. But
You had a breaker block, then the limiter, all those rejections like 5, 10, 15, 20, half hour, 25 minutes of rejections there.
yeah, on a very specific spot. Like whereas like here, like yeah, there's a lot of rejections here, but there's nothing here. There's no limiters.
Right.
There's no bibs. There's no specials. There's no DRCs. We're not on the edge of the weekly DR. Like, there's literally nothing. This is just like air rejections. In fact, you could argue that, what is this line? It's a limiter and bib together, and then there's a bib. So you could even argue that this actually is pricing down. Comes up, fails to get higher, rejects, tries again, rejects, tries again, rejects. Then we sell off to where a limiter is,
Right.
and a bib, and a bunch of DRCs, and a recent DRC. And then now we're actually hitting something on the rejection side to take us higher. So, like, that's what M7 sees, man. Like, he just, like, that's why he doesn't need order blocks. He's like, so, and this is the prime example. Like, I've never seen this turnaround right here. Like, this means nothing to me off of how I understand structure. I guess it is hitting this, but this is, well, I guess if we are being realistic, this, because it's a doji, I guess could be considered what caused the structure break, but that's fucking grasping, and I think this goes deeper than this. Yeah, so grasping failure. Yeah, I have no idea. That's crazy, because 50% of this wick right here is already negated. Like, so there's nothing. Like, I see no reason to buy here, but based on what we're taught in DR, this is like, why aren't you buying here? Like,
Yeah.
M7 be like, how do you not buy this?
Right.
You'd be like,
Yeah,
I could teach my 3-year-old nephew to buy this. You'd be like, we go to the Gap, 6R right there, boom, 3 candles. Merry Christmas.
Shit. That's brilliant. Wow.
So that's why I'm trying to wean myself off of order blocks, and I try to reanalyze it. Like, how do I see structure with DR? Because it's clear, like, even right here, like, we break through a pile of vibs and limiters. None of the rest of this really mattered. Broke through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rejections, 3 of which tried to go higher, and then it just sells off.
Wow. It's just incredible. It really is.
And then even you can here, same thing. We got this. This is the midline of the weekly DR. It's also a bunch of bibs. There's also a special here that it rejected down from. Then comes up, tries to break it. It fails. Tries again. Fails. Tries again, and just sells off till it gets to here. So it's like everything that he's given us, if you're using it the way it's supposed to be used, is beyond beneficial. Especially here, when you get this, it tries to break down and gets rejected from this other limiter.
Right.
It's immediate
to the tick.
To the tick, and then it rejects higher. And it's yeah, you ain't coming down, bitch. You going this way. And then we get the dib up. No, that doesn't dib up. That just opens and closes higher. And then it dibs down, though. That's a dib down. And immediately just, you could even get in late here. You could be like, okay, fine, I'll get in here. Shitty R trade, but it's obviously going up. And then just understanding how structure works. My target in my video was these highs. I was like, we already took this high in the ODR. If we're going to go up again, we're taking these highs here, potentially even this high here. And we took all of it.
Oh, wow.
And this is what the market does. It basically, so it rallies. This is an important high. This is a medium high, and then the double top is this one and the one behind it. It comes down, it rallies, it looks like it's just gonna fucking like explode. It takes this high and just says nope. But then in between sessions, it goes and just literally no drawdown,
Punches
fucking
through it.
just through everything.
Holy shit.
While also taking all of these lows.
Right.
For all the people that were buying on this rally up. So it's just like, man, it's like we overcomplicate trading so much. We're always looking for like ridiculous edge, and like there's nothing wrong with that, but it's like I've just slowly gotten to the point because of DR that it's like I know that I can get 20R weeks like without even really thinking about it. So
yeah,
why do I need 100R weeks? Why do I need to like pigeonhole for ridiculousness when 20R a week is like
that's million. That's it's only a matter of time before you're a billionaire.
exactly. So it's
If you
like
really figure out how to trade R, and then at some point you got to figure out about order routing and ways to kind of camouflage your steps.
yeah,
But by the time you get there, getting that information won't be difficult.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, my goal's 9 figures this year, so I'm
I like that goal.
tired of complicating stuff. I know
Yeah.
like like even just breaking down how stupid simple this is. Like you could have shorted here, no questions. You could have bought here, no questions. This is like box creation madness. So you just
Right.
don't buy into it. You know that we had the market structure shift. So you're either looking to rebuy off of here somewhere, so the 0.8 level, or when you see this explosion here somewhere.
Right.
And it aligns with the weekly DR open line. It rejects the limiters. It's like ABC.
Yeah. So that's it. Just kind of familiarizing yourself with the. It's just now that it's like I'm trying to take a lot of my tags out because I just have too many tags, and I know that if I want to be effective at doing this time and price thing, I got to make it streamlined. I got to make it easier. I can't sit every time I take a trade and spend 20 minutes updating tags.
Yeah.
I just have to decide like what are the key confluences I want. It's like I really believe something about the WDR gives you edge and direction. I really do. And I also think the trend of the last swing of the like if you look at all of the weekly DRs in a and see which way they're trending, I think that's the way you're going to find out what your you know what if you want to have a bias, that's the way you're going to develop. Well, I guess my desire is to determine when should you trail, when should you, maybe take the low hanging fruit, and I think it's got to be something to do with that. Like if you look at all of your WDRs,
Well, yeah,
and
you can see here. So like
yeah,
this week, it rejected. It tried to come back through. It
hmm
rejected, and it just trended down.
yeah, and look at those sharp candles that it's like if you will, the low resistance liquidity runs. I don't know about the liquidity run part, but I enjoy the fact that I feel like if you get in the right way, you those kind of gappy runs that you can enjoy a lot more of them than when you're fighting the trend, you know?
There might be something to what you're saying. So this is Wednesday. This is Thursday. We break through, we disrespect it, we come back to like the midpoint. But here, Wednesday, Thursday, once it takes off Thursday, it just takes off the rest of the week.
Yeah. And Monday, if it's far extended, it tends to want to get a little bit closer to the last weekly DR. That's the only reason why I use that as exclusion. But but
But then
you know,
here,
if you look at all those the mean runs, they happen away from the direction of the WDR, whether it be above it or below it. So let's say you don't know what the swings are of the what the swing leg of the WDRs are, then you can still get better trades if you trade away from the WDR. You're above the WDR, except for Thursday, you kind of want to be long. If you're below the WDR, except for Thursday, you kind of want to be short. and I feel like you enjoy better, easier runs, more rapid runs, and things tend to go through your target more than when I mean this is all anecdotal evidence. I intend to put this to the test. I'm just trying to frame my tags to make it simple.
yeah, no, I agree. Like even here, Wednesday, we come through, we retest on Thursday, and then it just extends till the next Tuesday when it retraces a little bit. Wednesday,
Yeah.
it tests. Thursday, runs away and just keeps going. And
And then
then,
if you have days where it just keeps ripping through it, then like maybe you want to lay off. Like you don't have to be so crazy every week, you know.
yeah,
If you find that there's a lot of DRs in that are connected to the weekly DR, then you calm down a bit and you be a bit more sensible about your um,
I currently, by reviewing the last 4 weeks, agree with your sentiment.
yeah. So, but I do intend to put it to the test. I mean, it's been something floating in my head for a long time, but yeah, but I don't have any hard evidence to place with it. Eventually, if I can get any evidence in a 250 back test run, then I'll go back and say, all right, let me use the weekly DR to figure out if there's something there. If not the weekly DR, the weekly box, and see if there's something I can add to it or make sense of how far it's the standard deviations that it's moving from that. And he said there's a monthly box too, but I don't like you were saying before. The more complicated you make it, like I want to have a baseline that I can trade and make money. And then if 6 months from now, 8 months, a year from now, I can easily add confluences because my mind I'm not thinking so hard to trade what I'm trading, you
Yep.
know. It's like I don't need it all now, and that's my that's my the bane of my compulsion is to you know want to fit all of the pieces to the puzzle together, and I don't need that. I just need to put a few pieces in the center together
You just
to get
need,
a picture.
yeah, you just need consistency. Like, so
Yeah.
I don't think you were here. Where's my metrics? I ran through, of course, it's not here. I ran through back tests, CNP. So I basically traded CL 2024 from January 2nd to January 12th was all I
Okay.
had time for.
Mm-hmm.
But I traded it just based off principles of like how I view the market structure and trading time and price. So like the market structure part was really just for models, like model to
Okay.
model, and then time and price was time and price with using smart stops that would be like order blocks. And my first 2 weeks of January, I've got 40R, and it's like, and I was just like running through it. I'm just like, it's like like, why am I complicating this shit? It's so easy. Like, trading, the only reason, and I've said this a
And
million
that's time
times,
and price only?
and models.
Oh, and models. Okay.
Yeah. Um, and I had 5 consecutive losses, but I also had 4 consecutive winners, and I don't think I broke even on like any of them. I think I was just like running through. I just wanted to see what like the outcome would be. So there's one break even.
Mm.
And and like I'll say it a million times. Like I think the only reason people lose money in trading is because they want to be right more than they want to win.
Right. Yeah,
And
that's the thing. It's the win percentage that seems so awesome. It draws people in. It's but yeah, it's unnecessary.
well, not just that. It's like as an example, this morning when I made my miscalculation and I had 2 break evens and 1 loss, a lot of people will just keep swinging. Like it doesn't register that like hey like you're something's not right or you're just simply wrong and you're not like looking at the data. And
Mm.
and instead of being down 1 R, they're down 5 R. And instead
Yeah.
of being 5 actual R, they're down.
Yeah, 12R because they keep over leveraging
That's right.
the next trade.
So it's
Yeah, that's something I that resonates with me.
it man, I'm sure it resonates with 95% of all retail traders that don't make money.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
it
Yeah, so true.
it's because it's really easy to lose track of. It's like you realize it after, and like I lost fucking a pile of money when I was first started trading. Um, um, it's it's easy to lose track of in the moment, and you only feel like shit when it's done, and then you're like, well, why was I such an idiot? And that's why like
Yeah.
I tell everybody like you have to train your mind. Like your mind is your biggest weakness in trading. And the easiest way to fix your mind is to make trading simple. Stop making it complicated, especially when everything's given to you. And when I lost my trade, I just walked away. It was easy. Like it wasn't like I was like I know this is supposed to be an upside day with the long confirmation. This is my bias. My bias was correct, but how I was viewing the market was incorrect. I was
Mm.
using the 8:30 time, 7:15 to 8:30 as confirmation, or not 7:15, 8:15 8:30 as confirmation for my low. We didn't get a body close. I somehow sold myself that there was a market structure shift in here, which clearly like there's nothing indicating other than like maybe it respected this,
Right.
but like it didn't make a new high, so it's irrelevant. And then I got lucky on 2 trades and broke even, and then I lost one. And I'm like, okay, I lost on this candle, 100%. This is the candle I lost on. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. We shouldn't be making any more. It was the 825 candle because that should be the last candle that you could possibly make a new low. And it made a new low. And I guess I could have just bought and like, especially when this dipped up, I've been like, whatever. Um, but I just knew like something that I was doing was like I wasn't seeing something properly, whether it was the data or my analysis or whatever. So I just was like, okay, I'll just fucking go to work and reassess. And then when I reassess, I'm like, oh my god, like I'm an idiot.
Yeah, but I mean, look, it's first of all, you're able to see what went wrong, and you're able to do it calmly, and that's a huge thing. That's a big.
Yeah, being able to, well, even like J Bell today when he was like, so like he was like, what do you say? He had, I want to say anxiety, but it wasn't anxiety. What did he
Yeah,
say?
no, he was definitely feeling anxiety.
Well, I know, but that wasn't the word he used. Oh,
Oh, right.
the dopamine
Dopamine hit.
is not good right now. I'm like, man, like you did like that is literally like a gambler's mindset. Like the only reason you're having dopamine hits is because like you want like you're craving, and it's like you just have to train that out of your system. Like you like the only way to win in trading is to just treat it like a job. Like
Yeah.
this is my this is why I enter, this is why I exit, and those are my parameters. Let's go make money.
Let's go make money.
You you can backtest the shit out of it. But the backtest doesn't mean anything if you can't execute based on your rules.
Right.
And as soon as you over execute, like that screenshot that was posted the other day where I was like, the data doesn't support this. It's like as soon as you start operating outside of your parameters, or you're justifying what like being outside of your parameters, that's when you lose.
Right.
Because you can justify anything.
Yeah, it's so true.
It doesn't mean it's right. It just means that
No.
you're rationalizing human insanity. Like,
Yeah.
great job. I'm proud of you.
Yeah. Well, it's about, like you said, dude, it's about training your mind. You don't want to feel like every time you're done trading that you're walking back to your car after the casino, you you want to feel like you've gone to the office, put in your work for the day, and you're going home.
Or
It's
you're leaving the casino after you hit the jackpot.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like you get to a point where, if you're really good at making money and you're good at controlling losses, after a while, I'm sure it's just, it'd be like a few times a year you get those Six Sigma trades where you're like, holy shit, that was, what a day. Yeah, you know?
Yeah, it's I think Anand said it pretty good too. It's like you gotta look, I don't know if he said it publicly or just to me, or maybe it's Olia. Regardless. One of them said you can't even look month to month at your results. You need to stick to a plan and look at your results quarterly. And if your results even remotely align with where you think you should be,
Mm,
you can only improve from there.
right.
But if you're looking at it day to day, you're just not going to see, because it's like, say you lose two trades today. Well, that's 2 hours. Like there's no compound, there's no benefit, there's no plus. And if you look at it day to day and there's no plus, and that and your mind isn't right, well, now you're just going to try and like go make it plus, and you're going to be even further behind. So there's just like there's no benefit to like doing a daily analysis on anything other than, did you perform based on what your plan says you should be doing.
Right.
That's the only daily analysis you should ever do.
I like that. Performance, like just filling out your
Your
metrics.
metrics, yeah. Like I don't even
Yeah.
fill out metrics like in its entirety, and I probably should start doing that. I just put in my trades, and like I understand that I execute based on my rules because I just know what I'm trying to do.
Right.
Um, but maybe inputting my stuff in metrics would be beneficial.
Yeah.
Like updating like the preparation, entry, stop loss, target, like your management rules, all that stuff. Maybe that would be smart. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I fill it out, but it's always seems a bit nebulous. I don't know what my criteria. Those categories are brilliant, but unless you have very specific ways you quantify those things, it can be
Well, not
a bit
really.
weird.
Like you think about it. So your preparation. Did
Mm-hmm.
you meditate? Did you think about what your plan was for the day? Your entry,
Mm.
was your entry like this in no man's land? Was your entry like this with huge rejections? Was your
Mm.
entry in the middle of the box because you thought you saw something and M7 specifically says don't trade inside the box? Like, so your entry can be as simple as, does it line up with what's been taught? Same with the stop loss. Like, was I being super aggressive? Was I being too loose? Was I being greedy with my target? Was my target just simply what the data says, or did I think I saw something? Like,
Mm.
like me saying, like going for these highs. If the
Right.
target was say zero point 0.8 on this day, well, I'm just being greedy because I'm going for stuff that I used to think about before.
Right. No, yeah, yeah. I always look for the liquidity. Although have stopped doing that too. In the last month, I stopped looking for the liquidity areas.
Yeah, because man, it's there's even like super easy examples of how that just fucks you. Like here. So like say you knew this short was happening, but say the target was like 2.6 and this is like, but you're like, well, I'm just going to grab these lows in this gap. But the target like is way down here and it hits the target. You're like, "Oh, well, I just lost half of my R potential because I thought I knew better than what the data says." And it's like, can you adjust your target to have a higher probability? Sure. So like today, for
Mm.
example, by day, Thursday, true long RDR. So today is 1.6, but the mode is actually 1.1 to 1.2. So you could have literally just had it at 1.2 or even 1.1 and you would have hit it instead of 1.6. You get a little bit less R, but like your probability of hitting that is 25% higher than hitting the 1.6.
Right.
So it's like,
Oh, I like that, the way you're thinking that.
yeah, so
But well, my point about it was this. All right, so let's take that scenario where you have um a data tells you to take your profit at 1 point. The median is 1.6. You're always median minus 2 SD, point 0.2 SD.
mhm.
So you're taking at 1.4. And then say on this particular day, you thought, oh, there's a liquidity run at, 1.7. Let me just put it there. And so at the end of the day, you're going through your metrics. What do you take off for that type of? Is it you ding yourself a point? Is it 2 points? Is it 3 points? Is it
Well,
5 points?
it's based on what your plan is. So if you
Mm,
deviate from your plan based on self adjustments,
mm,
I would take points off because that's not the plan. That's your own delusions of grandeur playing
right,
playing into you think you're smarter than the data.
right.
Like you can't outplay 20 years of data. Is there like, do we have draws on liquidity? Sure, of course. Like, well, like to say that that's not a thing is like we'd all be fooling ourselves. But to what extent? So like as an example, this was the high of today.
Mm,
These are all the highs that I would have been targeting.
yeah.
It went above those highs. It went above this high
Mm,
and
that high is intact still. No.
ran these highs, and went into the middle of this wick.
Yeah.
So it's like, so if I would have just been targeting right here, well, I made nothing today. I literally, so what would that have been? So I would have been, that was 0.7. So I would have been in here. My stop would have been probably, I don't know, here, we'll say. And I would have been targeting 0.8 or 0.9 because that's where the highs are. So that's 3R. And it ran basically 5R. So so because, or you, okay, so let's say I don't even have a target set because I'm like, well, it's going to run the highs. It could run forever. Okay, well, now we're back at 1R. So where do I cut my losses? Because like once this comes up and then just breaks down, like do I just think that it's going to have a end of day rally because that's just what usually happens at the end of the day?
Right, right, right.
Or do I, so like you just have to dock points for adding your own like reason why you do things.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Yeah, like
Um,
you can't like you're not smarter than the data. It's 20 years of data.
yeah, you can't be.
it's,
Yeah.
it's
And to
impossible.
think that you are is just like,
It's
you just,
delusional.
yeah, it's delusional.
Now, are there some people that see very specific types of setups and they take them and they're very disciplined and they execute? Sure, but they're also basing it off of data. They're basing it off of very specific changes in data and they're
Mm.
executing on that. And I would argue that the amount of people that can do that at a high efficiency level
Yeah, with
over
focus.
very extended periods of time are very, very few.
Yeah, no, I could see that being the case.
Otherwise, there'd be like you'd be here about millionaire traders all the time, and you don't because most people that trade have don't.
Lose money.
Yeah, they don't base it off anything. They'll post their huge wins. They never post losses, and they just pretend they're living this fucking magical life. They sell a course and make a couple hundred grand, couple mil, whatever, and away they go. But they're not professional traders.
No, no, far from it. Far from it. It's true.
So yeah,
Wow.
you
All
just
right, this is good. This is good, man. I got a framework to do. I'm excited about this. This
man,
is gonna.
I'm happy to see your like refocus. It's good.
Yeah, it's been a long time in coming, man. Just like it's shedding myself. It's so funny that because even today in the live, M7 said you have to empty your cup, and it's like, man, I came with a cup overflowing to this thing, and it's like, I thought, oh, I don't know what I thought really, but I definitely didn't have a a belief that I would have to let go of everything I've ever known, and including the near term stuff, which is my foray into ICT, which I know you've taken to quite lengths, quite deep length and depth and length. But yeah, I mean it's almost liberating not to have to carry the albatross of trying to,
Oh
you
man,
know.
it's so peaceful. Like I don't even think about this stuff anymore. I'm just like when I realized like I would argue that I was missing way more potential by trying to overanalyze the last since I've been here in October than just executing based on what he's taught me.
Mm,
And now it's like if you would have told me 2 years ago that you could get 40R a month, I would have been like, yeah, show me. And I would have just tried to be a god at it. And now I'm like, well, I think I can probably average like 80R a month and just not even like,
and not even sweat.
yeah, like it's just like, and it's just the difference between like understanding what executing a plan does and trying to outplay the market.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the key is not trying to not caring really about what it does.
Yeah, you just, this is my plan, execute.
Right.
And you know that, like, based on your back test, if you just do the same thing every time, you're going to win. And then you're
Right.
going to have the human error like I did today. And when you make that error, you just have to be willing to just walk away and be like, yeah, I fucked up. Don't punt off 25% of your life savings. Like, then sit there and try and grind it back for the next fucking 2 weeks. Who cares? Like, just, yeah, I lost an hour today. Fucked up. Shit.
So brilliant. It really is, man. It's so brilliant. Yeah.
It's just like real life. Like, people make mistakes. You can
Yeah.
either be the type of person that holds a grudge and lets it affect you for the rest of your life, or you can just let people fucking do their thing and you do your thing.
Right. Yeah, that's it, man.
The market is all the other people. You just got to do your thing.
Hmm. Amen to that. I like that. Like my mantra now. I gotta internalize it. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I mean that's what it takes. It's like, look, it's the tendency to divert. And he even said that today too. He's like, look, all you have to do is follow your rules. Like the one thing you cannot do is break your rules.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and it's like when you haven't written down your rules and you haven't really put it pen to paper, so to speak, then then you can fool yourself into thinking you're never breaking your rules.
Oh, 100%.
So that's why I've kind of formalized this, and further revision to come. Once I get some back testing data, then I can add some of the missing pieces to what I've begun, I guess. Anyway, all right, this is a good session, man. I appreciate it. Are you going to be on for a bit, or what's your thought? Are you going to
No,
do any back testing?
I'm gonna dip for a bit and make some food.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to do. My stomach's eating my back. I'm so hungry.
That's pretty excessive.
Yeah, so that's how it feels.
All right, man. Well,
All right, cool. Man.
grab some grub and we'll chat later.
All right, cool, man. Thanks.
Yeah.
Peace.